My name is Alyssa Mahadeo, journalist and community reporter, and I dedicate my time to searching for the stories that matter the most. Positive, uplifting, and inspiring stories that spotlight the challenges and obstacles we conquer to become the people who we are today. I don't know about you, but I'm tired of all the fairy tale lifestyles that people seem to be living on social media. Girl, you did not wake up like that. I'm interested in the genuine connections, the honest opinions, and the real uncut version of your true self. This show is about keeping it 100% real, deconstructing who we are and what we're all about. Join me as we sit down with individuals to discuss the personal struggles, the many challenges, and the moments that define us on this journey of self-discovery. Let's be real, life isn't fair and people make mistakes, but every opportunity is a learning experience. Let's discover the truth together right here on Real Talk. Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of Real Talk. I'm your host Alyssa Mahadeo, and today I have a very special show. Today we are talking about owning your power. I found that on your website. It was a very powerful. It was the first thing actually that jumped out at me because it's on the front page. But today I have two of the founders of the Young Black Women's Project. They are here in studio. I have Rouguy and Vanessa Spence, and they're here today to talk about the newest, this is a new initiative that actually just started last year in 2017, about empowering women through artistic self-expression and education. So, Vanessa, Rouguy, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Please tell the audience a little bit about yourselves and what everything's about.
Thank you so much for having us over, and we are so thrilled to be here. And as you said, the Young Black Women Project started in 2017. It is a 5-year project funded by the government of Canada.
Okay.
Yes, and my agency is PHIV-8 Network, but we go by FAN. And we have been around for 23 years. And our mission is to provide services so that we can enhance the health and well-being of people living in the region of them.
Okay.
Yeah. And I have been fortunate to work in this agency since 2017. So the Young Black Women just started when I got in. And I am a senior program coordinator, and my work mainly focuses on the Black communities. And it goes from the young Black women to senior citizens, and as well as the young boys, because we don't say young Black women without the young boys as well. So, yeah, and since then I have been very fortunate to work with such wonderful people like Vanessa Spence here, our board chair for the Young Black Women, as well as your colleague Simone.
Yeah, and Simone, who was on just before me.
Yeah, and Simone is the co-chair. I'm just going to hand off to Vanessa, and she can go from there.
Okay.
Yes, the YBW.
Actually, you are wearing the T-shirt of the YBW.
I am. I have to represent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't come on the show and not represent, so I didn't have to represent.
Of course.
Outside of the YBW, I do write. I'm a performer as well as an actor. And when how I was introduced to the project, I guess, was through an Instagram post. I was just kind of lying on my couch.
On social media.
Yeah. I was kind of just lying on my couch like, what should I do tonight?
Yeah.
And then an Instagram post came up, and it said someone who I knew was facilitating something a couple weeks afterward. So I signed up. It was on Eventbrite. I signed up, and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing because I get to do things. I get to connect with my community. Oh my God, other Black women. So that was very important to me at that time. So when I got there, it was just, I was welcomed by Rouguy. So like the first time I met her, and she smiled and she hugged me, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. You just, I was able to go in and be welcomed as who I was.
And immediately feel like family, too.
Exactly.
Right? Like you're going to meet your auntie.
Exactly.
Exactly. And you know what makes me very proud of working at the Young Black Women Project? It excites me as well. It's like we are creating a network of young black women, right? And in this project, even though I'm a newcomer, I have only lived in Canada for 4 years. Prior to that, I lived in the States and also in Africa, where I was born and raised. But this project have given me now many sisters, because when I was younger, I always looked forward to having a little sister, right? And I don't know, fortunately or unfortunately, I had only my only siblings are male siblings. I have older sister, and then I have me.
I have two little brothers. I feel you. Don't worry.
And then I was looking so forward having. Maybe I will have my daughter, right? And then I had two sons again. And then when the young black woman came, I always tell that. That's how I joke. I say around. I say, okay, now at least I have many sisters. I have many nieces and all the stuff. Then it's a way for me to build my community as well, and also, to contribute to the well-being of not only the black women, but women in general.
And I love that, it's a sisterhood. Again, I feel like women are now starting to have this conversation more and more. And I know in the past, and I think when you're in middle school and you're in high school, it's always a competition.
Yeah.
You always find yourself in competition with other women, and it's not the way that we should. We should be communicating with each other.
No, not at all.
Right?
We have to accept each other just for who we are, like I said before, but also it's good that it's like-minded women. You know what I mean? Like, the people don't come to the project just kind of being willy-nilly in their thinking. You come and you kind of know what you want, you know what you expect. So it's nice to meet like-minded women. Yeah. Because even I'm friends with obviously Rouguy and a couple of the other young black women who have graduated from the program, and I'm just like, wow, I didn't realize. I thought it was only me who thought this way, but it's not. There's a whole community of women who think like me, and we can do something with that.
So who are these women? Like, where are they coming from? What are their backgrounds? Are they like you? Did they find out about this project on social media, or was this something that was kind of, how was it kind of founded?
Okay. So what happened, we had in 2017, we had a need assessment. And through that need assessment, there were a gap that we wanted to fill, because young black women expressed the need of having a safe space whereby they can provide, they can live and grow, and then also address issues that are related to their day-to-day life.
Of course.
So this is how the project came to be.
Okay.
And then after we conceptualized the project, we had like certain, in the implementation phase, then we had the Eventbrite, as a promotion tool, as well as social media. And then many of them, black women, reach out to us through that, but also I personally do a lot of outreach through our agency, and also we have sister partner organizations which we relay to, so in order just to put the word out so that people are aware of what is going on. And as I said, the response has been very above and beyond of my expectations. Yeah.
So you guys had your first workshop in September.
Yes.
Of last year.
Yeah.
What were kind of the details of that workshop?
The workshop, I can say something. It was we had several topics like leadership, public speaking, and self-esteem, trauma. If I'm
sex and relationships.
Vanessa can more speak about that, because she was a participant and she was we had like 8 sessions, and she was present in each and every one. So, and also we had the sex and relationship. We had the creative writing, and actually the book that will be published on May 7th, which we will talk about more in details later on, came out that creative writing. So we had a New York bestseller author who came by, and then she provided the workshop, and then she empowered the girls, my girls, as I said, my sisters. And it's just amazing. Yeah. And we had very, what also the second concept of the project was to bring forward women who are already accomplished, so that the young black women can look up to those women,
Those
and
mentoring
then,
and examples.
yeah, the mentoring examples, and then to understand that yes, they can grow, and as well as then they can there are challenges in any situation, however they can grow out of those challenges out and then achieve their full potential.
Yeah.
And so, what was the age range of these women? Is it specific, like a young age? I know it goes up until the age of 29.
Yeah, so it's youth, so it goes from about age 16 to age 29.
Mm-hmm.
But in our first workshop series, it was kind of just more people out of college and university.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of like 19 to 24.
Okay.
That was kind of...
Those are some formative years. Those are like key years when you think about it. Because 16, I'm still thinking about, like, I always like to draw from my own example. Like, when I was 16, what was I asking questions about? Or what was I even thinking about at that point, right? At that point, I'm just trying to get through school. I'm like just trying to graduate from high school. It's all I'm trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that I really even started asking questions until I was about 18, 19, heading into university and college. Because now life is starting to get more serious.
Yeah.
You're going to have to make those decisions. You're going to be like, what do I want to do with my life? What kind of career do I want to have?
Yeah, because people start seeking knowledge at that age.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like when you're 16, you're like, nah, I have to go to school. I have to do this. I have to do that.
Or you listen to your parents.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And in our culture, usually for the African Caribbean communities, there are some questions, even you have it, it's very difficult to go to your parents, especially your mom, and speak about those. So, and I think this project is an opportunity to share with their peers as well as also older generations where they can feel safe and they, ask all questions that they may have and otherwise would not ask their own parents.
Yeah, of course. Of course. There's so many questions that even you want to sit down and you have these conversations with your friends.
Yeah.
But we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to hear more from Rouguy and Vanessa, guys, so stay tuned. Great, and how's your experience been so far?
I'm loving it because
This is my first year here, and I was so excited.
I've had so many people come, so much traffic. I'm absolutely tired. Because of all the exposure that I got from this great event, I was able to grow and evolve and create my very own label.
It's been a fantastic event.
This is my second year.
Great and awesome event connecting to the community.
So yeah, we urge you to join here. It's a great turnout.
So for those of you who are not here this year and have business, make sure that you're here next year because it's only going to get better every year.
So I will be back next year. So thank you, Mr. Social.
Awesome.
So people who aren't here, what would you tell them?
You're missing out. Come out and have some fun.
Welcome back. You're watching Real Talk. I'm your host, Alyssa Mahadeo, and today on the show we have Vanessa Spence and Rouguy Balde, and they're here talking about the young black women's project.
It's a bit of a tongue twister.
I'm just like, I looked at the title about like 3 different times, and I was like, that's what it is. And then I was typing it, and I was writing YBW, and I was like, okay, YBW.
Go by YBW, and then you know what? I get you that because French is my first language, and anytime I have to pause and then think, because if I go faster, I may be speaking to franglais, and franglais is like when you speak English in the French.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I feel like
wish
you
I
could
could
get
do
away
that.
with. I know, but you could get away with that. I think in Montreal.
Yeah, Montreal.
But
yeah.
here, I
Not
just
here.
can't.
We'd be like, what? Huh?
So tell me a little bit about your respectives, yourselves, your earlier lives, and tell me how, what your formative years were like. What kind of questions were you asking or looking for answers to?
I can just let Vanessa go by there because I have,
She has to go
I don't
front
even
and back.
remember when I was.
Where
I've always kind of been outgoing, but also outspoken.
Okay.
So the questions I wanted to ask, the people around me couldn't really answer.
Okay.
So I had to kind of look out, and I had to look inward a lot. So I think it was in grade 12 I kind of realized I'm like, I like to be on stage. I like to perform. I like to write. I like art. I like performance, things like that. Because it did answer a lot of questions, and I didn't have to ask anybody. I kind of just had to read up on a character and be like, oh my gosh, I'm just like that character. Or I can find myself in that character. I can find a piece of that character in myself. So I went to school for theater. And then after that, you know, it was so much freedom, so much love, and you saw like all these different people from different walks of life. And you were able to study characters, you know, from different walks of life, and you found yourself in them. And then coming back, it sounds really bad, but coming back to Brampton after graduating from that whole theater school experience, all of my questions just kind of died.
It probably was a little bit underwhelming too, because you're coming back to something like you kind of were exposed to the world a little bit and got like a glimpse of what kinds of things you could know, the knowledge that you could have, and then you came back and you're like, nah, I feel sheltered again.
Yes, I was just like, oh my gosh, back in my mother's house, and it was just, I just felt like the world that I thought was so huge just kind of shrunk right in front of me.
And then you went under the rock again. And
yeah, and then I'm like, oh, you know, gotta find that full-time job, gotta do this, gotta do that, right? So then that's why, you know, when I saw the Young Black Women's Project, I was like, this sounds like me. This sounds really cool, and this sounds like something I can put my artistry into. So that's kind of why I went to the one workshop. I went to all the workshops, and I just kind of held on. Because I was like, this is somewhere I can grow, somewhere where I can be me, and somewhere I can be accepted as me. So. And
what were some of the things that you learned? Like, what were some of the things that you guys spoke about?
In the series, in the workshop series?
Yeah.
So what we spoke about was, my favorite is the sex and relationship building. I'm interested in that women's sexual health as well. So when they were able to talk about that and talk about it, you know, not only with other cultures, but especially in the Black community, that's something that we don't really speak about too often. So just being able to talk openly about that with my peers, and we taught each other, you know what I mean? Because everyone goes through their own different experiences, but then you say, you know, if you met a guy that someone is describing to you, you can say, oh, don't go any further with that guy. Don't do that. It's not how it works. Or if, you know, especially the topic of consent in our community is really very important. So that was great to talk about. And also creative writing. So the creative writing one was something that really spoke to me because, one, I am a writer, and I was able to use my writing skills to, you know, promote the YBW. And also I was... they used my writing in the book as well, so now I'm published.
She's one of our authors, as well as Simone. Yeah, they both contributed to the Young
So this book that you guys are launching the book on May 7th.
Yes, exactly.
What was the premise of this book, and kind of how did this book come about? Was it just stories that girls were sharing at the workshops that kind of you guys kind of all collaborated into one book?
I think they just kind of realized that a lot of art was coming out of the workshops. So a lot of these women were able to write and do, we even had a painting workshop.
We had the painting workshop for the mental health, which was actually one of my favorites, because we had a young Black woman. Her name is Camille Lauren, and I will recommend her that she be in this show because she is full of joy, and it's just nice to be around her.
She's so open. She's
so open, and she does her work with such a passion that even you have been painting like myself, it gives you, you know, the love of painting. Now I use that on my free time. I use painting now with my children, just, you know, as a way to connect with them.
It's a great form of self-expression.
It's a great form of self-expression.
So we have those kind of works in the book too, and we also ask people to submit works. So we have the forum on the YBW website, and that's where I was able to post my different articles, and it allowed other women to be able to post their articles too. So we used articles from there, and we asked, you know, Simone to write an article. So everyone just kind of, it's just kind of a compilation of young Black women's works.
It feels a lot like we used to read a lot of Chicken Soup. back in the day.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
She can sing
that's
for the
okay.
soul.
She can sing for the soul, and those are very like soulful stories. You know,
Yeah.
they're based on real life experience. Well, they're not even based on. They are real life experience that people have gone through. People obstacles, challenges, things that people have overcome.
Yeah.
And when they share it in such a way, it's so relatable.
Yeah.
Yes.
Especially because I find sometimes when you confront your own story, you're kind of afraid of what people are gonna think about it. And I was actually just having this conversation outside with Simone, because Simone is a very private person, or Simone doesn't really share a lot.
Yeah.
And I can say this, she's gonna be completely fine with it. But
That's
but
weird for our people.
yeah, Simone Simone doesn't really share her story. Like, I don't know a lot of Simone's story. I've only heard bits and pieces of it here and there.
Yeah.
But she was telling me she sat down to write this book, or her segment of the book, and she was like, reading it, she got emotional over it, because there was so much stuff that she had to, you know, confront again or to revisit. And when you read who you were or the things that you've come through, the challenge, you don't realize how all those things have defined who you are now today.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
that's true.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
That's exactly true, Alicia. And you know what? I remember growing up, I was so shy. I was extremely shy. I could not even speak in front of two people. Now, even if you tell my parents that I can sit in front of the TV and speak, they would say, oh, maybe that is not her, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And then you feel that the little girl inside has grown, and then it's even safe that you can look back now in your past life and then, you know, still be proud of what you are doing, and or maybe how you are changing people's life. And I think we all relate to that, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure. I mean, I relate to it most of all. Like, when like you say that you couldn't speak in front of people.
Yeah.
I didn't even know how to do that. Like, I was so shy that I couldn't even make friends sometimes. Like, I couldn't even go up to another person and, you know, find some common ground and make a friendship. That's how difficult it was for me. And then growing up as well, I couldn't do like class presentations. I hated to speak in front of class. If you asked me to do a speech, it was never happening. Because like my memory just sucks completely. And I was like, how am I supposed to remember what it is I'm supposed to say? And it wasn't like, I would always be like, hey, no, if I learn this enough, I feel like if I know what I'm talking about, it'll be easy for me to talk about. And then I decided to go into journalism. Something that was completely like, now you have to be front and center, lights, camera, action. I was like, this is not me. I'm a writer. I'm an insecure writer. So I was like, we're not going to do that. But then I gradually, again, in my teenage years, I would always continuously push myself out of my comfort zone. Because I knew I knew who I wanted to be. And I was like, by hiding in the shadows the entire time, I'm not going to be able to do that.
You're not going to grow into it. Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yes, that's extremely true. Because, you know, as I said, and then that's why I went to medical school, you know, so that I say, okay, I can just sit down and then work with first one-on-one and I'm fine. Then as I grow older, then I realized that wasn't really what I was meant to do. I was meant to be a public person. So then I went, you know, I twisted my career so that I can have, I still work in the healthcare field, but where I can have access to people, to talk to them, you know, and then, you know, to socialize more. And it's been a real, you know, a good experience for myself. Yeah.
And it's all about the journey of self-discovery. It's really about discovering who you are, what your role is in life, and what you kind of want to do with your time here on Earth.
Exactly.
Right? Because, again, we're not permanent.
Yes, we are not.
We're not permanent. We're not going to be here forever.
Yes.
But our time, while we're here on this,
yeah.
what we do with that time is what's the most meaningful and what's going to help, again, the next generation. Because everyone is trying to figure it out. Everyone's like,
we're just trying to figure it out.
Everyone's just trying to figure it out. So we're going to take another quick break. When we come back in, more about Figure It Out, guys. Today it's Real Talk. All right, every Friday.
Think you have what it takes to bring value to the community? The TCN TV network is expanding and now accepting TV show proposals. Here's an opportunity to build celebrity status and become part of an elite group of community advocates that are focused on building, strengthening, and empowering our community in a positive way. Are you interested in embarking on a new adventure? TCN TV is searching for people interested in opportunities to change the conversation and pave an unforgettable legacy. If you feel you have something of value to offer, send a written show proposal to shows@mytcntv.com.
Welcome back. You're watching Real Talk. I'm your host, Alyssa Mahadeo, and we have Real Talk here every Friday from 1 to 2 p.m., guys. Today we're having a really great conversation on the show. It's getting real. It's getting
deep.
really real. It's getting deep, real, raw, authentic. You know, just the way I like it. Today on the show, we are discussing the Young Black Women's Project and their initiative and the work that they're doing, especially with sharing, you know, the stories of young Black women in Peel.
Yeah.
And their experiences and also offering mentorship and leadership roles for younger Black women to also come out of their own shells and to discover who they are. So as we were discussing before the break, you know, it's all about this journey of self-discovery and kind of what can you learn, what have you learned that would benefit from teaching other people.
Yeah.
So the education side of things, what are some of the things that you guys talk about in your workshops?
So with the education, it's more like, it's like I was kind of saying in the email, you just kind of live your life, and the person should, you know, from you living your life, hopefully you think that the person will reflect on their life, right?
Okay.
So, for example, in the one that Camille did, she talked to us about her mental health issues and what she has gone through.
Okay.
So with her being able to speak about what she's gone through, it was easier for me to reflect on maybe, you know, like maybe I can say, maybe that wasn't just depression that I was, you know, feeling, or maybe that wasn't just me wanting to sleep for 24 hours out of the entire day. Like maybe it was something else. So it allowed me to look further, deeper into myself to say, okay, so I was maybe depressed at this point in my life. What did I do to get out of that? So that's kind of one thing I enjoyed about the mentors was they were able to speak about their journeys, and it allowed me to reflect on my own. So I think it's not like education, like here's your ABCs and 1, 2, 3s, but it's kind of like an inner understanding of yourself.
I like that though. It's because it's very informal. It's just the sharing of stories. It's not like I'm here to tell you how to live your life.
No.
Because you never want someone to do that.
No.
But if you can learn from someone else's experience to reflect on your own experience, as you said, you're more open or more receptive to even trying to figure out what it is or work through it and actually ask the questions that need to be asked to yourself.
Right.
So be like, I know a lot of the times people kind of just sit and wonder like, what am I doing with my life? You know what I mean? Everyone gets to that point. I'm really, like, I'm sure 100%, I feel like I can speak for everyone on this planet where you get to the point
what am I doing?
Where you just kind of sit down, you're like, what am I doing with my life? Because either a series of things will go wrong. Something will happen that kind of just throws everything out of balance, out of whack. And then you sink into those mental health like issues where you end up in depression, you have anxiety, you have self-doubt, you know, like negative self-talk, just so many things that can just overwhelm you, and then you get to the point where you don't even feel like yourself anymore.
Yes, that's true. And you know, especially mental health is very stigmatized in the Black community.
Very stigmatized.
So that's why people don't seek help, right? And there's always say, oh, maybe I'm going to be fine. No. And if you look at the data and the provincial data, there are many ICB community members who are, you know, having mental health issues. So that's why we are now even thinking of redirecting some of our outreach activities, you know, just to address those issues. And also, as I said, the educational part of the Young Black Women Project comes to the fact that you share your own life with the person, right? And we go sometimes very emotional, believe me, right?
Trust me, you don't ever know what people have gone through.
And then you can hear their stories, say, oh, okay, then despite all these issues and you were able to overcome that, then I can overcome my issues, and then I can raise up, and then I can thrive, right?
It really puts it into perspective for you.
It allows you to find the conclusion yourself. And I think that's what's most important. Like if you go to a doctor, they're gonna say, oh, you're depressed, take this pill. You know, but if you have a story with your peer, then if you share stories with your peers, then you can say, oh, this is what's happening with me, and this is how I'm going to deal with it. You know, it's not always prescription drugs, things like that, that's going to make things better. No, it just kind of suppresses it.
Yeah.
You know? And then when those drugs are done, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, and sometimes it's even if you stop taking the drugs and then it get worse, and then you come back, you take more drugs, and you become even addicted, right?
Yeah.
So the project is a peer-to-peer, and it's as I said, it's based on community development, and people take on their owner of their lives. Nobody can teach you how to lead your life. They can just support you in your life, in your process of your life.
Yeah, nobody knows you better than you know yourself.
Right. And that's what I really am very appreciative of. And everybody contributes. There is nothing that sometimes I ask questions. Vanessa, what do you think about that? And then because we have that kind of relationship, and then that kind of trust, we are able to build that kind of trust between us. So we have, like as I said, we are like sisters.
It was it's just very natural. And what I liked about the project is that they came at it in a more holistic way, in a more whole. I just felt like it wasn't we're here to help you.
It was more connecting with yourself and your spirit, and finding out who you are, like through your own, again, self-discovery, through even examining the relationships in your own life and how they've defined the person who you are now. So through this experience, what kind of revelations have you guys had about yourselves?
Well, that's a big one. That's a biggie. Revelations. This is a story.
Okay.
It's kind of what you were talking about in the last segment about starting off shy and then kind of turning into who you are today. But for me, it was kind of the other way around. Like, I started off very loud, and then I turned into this shy person. I was like, this is not me. You know what I mean? And every time I go to work, 8 hours out of the day, I'm that shy person who I'm just not. Right? So I just kind of found out that I can be myself everywhere. I can be me wherever I am 24/7. Even when I'm asleep, I can be myself. You know what I mean? So that was kind of a big thing for me to realize. I don't have to edit myself because I'm somewhere with
I like
someone.
that. I like that term, edit yourself.
Edit yourself. But it's that's why you are an actor, right?
That's why I do what I do.
No, but it's very true. Like, I mean, I always talk about this specifically on this show a lot, where it's like people have this idea of how they should look to the world. So they kind of put on a mask whenever they go online, or they go out, or they go on social media, or even they go on dates.
Yeah, and that's the worst place to do it.
This is the big thing. Like,
don't do that.
This is the worst kind of thing, because people are never their authentic self. And it's because they're not comfortable with who they are that they can't showcase their authentic self.
That's true.
That's true. And that's what I was realizing, like, with the decisions I was making. I wasn't making the decision for myself. So I felt like I had to put on a mask to justify the decisions I was making. And that's not the way to live your life.
No, because why are you justifying all of your actions? You're just like, I do this because this is what I want to do.
This is what I do.
And you have to be yourself first in order, even to access your creativity.
Exactly.
Because you need to know first who you are as a person, and what you like, and what are your challenges, to what extent you can stretch yourself. Then if you don't have all these issues and values, then it's going to be very difficult for you even to tap into your creativity, or maybe do something that can impact people. So as I said again, I'm so proud of my girls. Now I call them my girls because
because you're proud of them. You're like, again, you're like a mom.
And it makes me now feel younger, right?
She lives through us.
Yeah, you see what? And now I'm living my teenage age through my young black woman, because I'm always refreshed with the ideas that they provide me and the feedback that I get.
You can also appreciate that they're coming to these revelations earlier in their lives, opposed to when they get older. And then their lives are filled with regret for the things that they didn't get to do, or the things that they never confronted, or just it's kind of like baggage that they carry with them their entire lives. Like, they'll get married, get old, and then when they're old and gray, that's when they kind of reflect on their lives, and they have all these things where they're just like, I should have done this.
You kind of realize, I didn't have to do this. I didn't have to do that so quickly. I didn't have to. You just kind of, and it's nice that because it's the Young Black Women's Project, they're able to have those revelations earlier on in life.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, they're able to do more.
Yes,
Or
and
they're
I have
able
a
to ask
testimony.
questions,
I have a testimony. One of the presenters, she was born and raised here, but her parents are from the Caribbean. And when she said, "Oh my God, I wish I can have such a project when I was on my 20s," then I know that my life outcome would have been different.
Yeah.
You see, and I think this is a huge opportunity for Black women, just to tap in and also to, to be part of the group, because it's open to everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we're going to hear more about how you, the audience, can get involved in a group like this. So we'll be right back.
Thank you.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
Welcome back. You're watching Real Talk. I'm your host, Alyssa Mahadeo, and today on the show we have Rouguy and Vanessa from the Young Black Women's Project, and they are here. You know, we're having some really great real talk today. I think this is like one of the most realist episodes we've had thus far.
Good to know.
I think I think every people who have been watching me since June of last year will know that we're coming up on a full year with on the station. And when I named this show, I named it Real Talk because I'm just that person. I can't put on a mask. I can't pretend to be a different person because I've broken out of that. Right. I'm pretty sure I used to do it because I wanted people to like me. But then I realized that I didn't need to because I was unapologetic about who I was. Right. I was just like, no, this is how I am. Why would I act any differently around you than I would around my family or around myself or around my brothers? Right? Because honestly, I think that takes too much effort.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
It takes
so
effort
unnecessary.
to be someone else than to be yourself.
Yeah.
Right? So just try to be who you are
just
and
go
show
with the
it.
flow.
And I always found myself apologizing for things. Like, this was just something that would happen in my day-to-day life. Like, I would do something, and I would feel like I offended someone, and then I would, like, sit there and think about it, and I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have said it this way, or shouldn't have said that. And then I through my friend group will tell you that I am the most honest person when it comes to things. Like, I will tell you exactly what I think about a situation.
But those are the type of people that the friends always come to because they need that real support. You know?
Exactly.
So honestly, sometimes I feel like I've hurt someone's feelings because I'm like, girl, that was harsh.
Maybe you hurt their feelings like right away, but I'm telling you, give them an hour or two and they're going to be like, thank you.
Yes.
Or give them a couple years down the line maybe and they're going to say thank you.
Well, that's how I talk to myself. That's the other thing. Like, I'm talking to you this way and I'm being real with you and harsh with you. It might seem like tough love, but I am very much that way with myself. So in my own mind, if I'm doing something, I'm judging myself first. I'm not going to come out here and be like, no, you shouldn't do that. Right? I'm not here to do that because I'm like, you have to live your life. I'm not gonna stop you from doing that. So whatever your experience, it's obviously gonna be different from mine, and I'm always gonna keep an open mind in that situation, right? Because I want to hear, okay, well, you know, what was going through your mind when you decided you were gonna do this, or why did you make this decision, or what do you regret now about this decision?
You see, and that's a good thing because a lot of people forget empathy. Empathy is so important, and we just like scratch that word out of the dictionary for some reason. No one knows how to just understand someone else's point of view. That, you know, it's their point of view. It's not your own.
It's always judgment. It's always just quick judgments. And I see that a lot. Like, you'll want to share something with someone, but you're like, they're gonna judge me if I say this, or if I like even like you were talking about earlier. questions about sex and relationships. Those are not things that we can just talk about. Like, we can talk about on this show because it's Real Talk, but
Great,
people,
I'll be back.
but people are very insecure, very shy about talking about those
exactly.
things, right? Because it's been that way for generations.
Yeah.
Like, you won't discuss this with your mom, you won't discuss this with your grandma, you won't discuss, maybe you'll discuss it with your friends because your friends are kind of open with it. And it's really funny because I've been friends with a lot of my friends for so many years, and it's only now that we're having conversations about these things. You know what I mean? So it's like only now that we're like, I'm completely fine with sharing this with you because I feel like you should know. It's not TMI because it's information that you should garner from this conversation.
You're probably going to have to go through this at some point, so at least you have a reference.
I'm like, at least you won't be like me first time in this situation where it's like, I don't know what to do. You know what I mean? Like, what is it like when you go on a first date? What should a first date look like? What should it feel like? You know, what kind of things are you trying to get from going out on a first date with someone?
Yes, right.
If you don't like them, how should you respond? If you do like them, how should you respond?
Yeah.
So many questions within questions.
So many questions. And that's what I think is really beautiful now is, especially the way I see the word education, it's not just kind of sit in front of a teacher and she's going to tell you how to do 2 + 2.
Yeah.
It's you learn from the people around you because everyone has experienced something.
Exactly.
And that's how you truly learn is through experience. So being able to share experiences is kind of, for me, the best form of education. Yeah.
Even when, again, I'm sure that women who come to your group are also, they're coming from, their backgrounds are probably, not the best. They probably don't come from the best case scenarios. They probably either they come from poverty or they have familial issues. They have some trauma that they've gone through. Just things like, so you don't know where people are coming from and you don't know where they're at in their lives.
That's why we are that is in general, we always value the safe space. And in the safe space, for the first criteria is non-judgment and then respect, because we respect each other's background and especially in the black communities, you can find people from they are black and they are born and raised in Canada, so they only are aware of what is going on here. There are some of them who were born and raised in Africa, like myself. Some are from the Caribbean. So it's all we are very diverse. And we have diverse backgrounds, we have diverse language. So it's very, very important that we know our participants, and also we always tell them that we are non-judgmental. So if you come with your whole self. You are who you are, and we just welcome you as you are, and we meet you where you are. We don't judge you or we impose you. Oh, you need to do this. Oh, you know what? This is the best way. As I said, this is not a PhD class where you can sit to just
be like, at the end of this course, you're gonna get a degree.
There is not a degree, but you know what? We just want to make sure like you have like a whole well-being.
That you're doing well. Yeah. That you're doing well in life. That if you have questions, that you shouldn't feel ashamed to ask them.
It's a support system.
It's a support system. And also there is always somebody who look like you who can answer your question, or maybe a peer of you, right?
Or they've gone through a similar experience.
Exactly.
Right, so they can relate to you personally.
And
I totally appreciate that. Like, I know like a lot of my friends, they come from the Caribbean, but not all of them, they're not West Indian. They wouldn't consider themselves West Indian because they're also black. Right? So it's like black, West Indian, African, and it's all kind of mixed in together.
It's a huge diaspora.
Right? And we always have these we always have these conversations about our identity.
Yes, exactly.
Who are we? Because I feel like if you don't understand that, you can't understand who you are and why you are the way you are, why you were raised the way you were, why your parents taught you the things that they did.
Exactly.
Right? So there's a lot of things like that. And then I always like to say this, and because my mom watches the show, so I always like to say this.
Hi, Mom.
But I was like, my parents didn't know everything when I was growing up. There were a lot of questions that I had that I was just like, they were just like, that's just how it is. I'm like, this is not an answer.
You kind of forget that your parents are human beings too. You know what I mean? You don't. If I don't know everything, my mom doesn't know everything. My dad doesn't know everything. But you expect them to because you're little, right? Yeah, but then when you get to an age like this, you just kind of realize, oh, they're still learning too. We're all still learning. So you have to kind of just once again, meet them where they are.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or whatever you've learned, help them, teach them.
Yes.
Because I'll have conversations sometimes with my mom too, and she'll tell me like, this is how I'm feeling, or this is a situation, and I'm like, no, but this is what I learned when I was out in the world and talking to other people who have gone through this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it becomes so much more relatable because you see it from a different perspective, or you're learning it from a different perspective because you know, again, what you were taught, what you were raised on, and what your parents were kind of like, this is kind of what you have to do. You know what I mean? This is how you need to live your life.
To be successful in Canada.
But
no, I just want to be successful.
Even to just be successful as a woman. That's another thing. Like, I mean, my mom comes from a family with a lot of sisters, and they were all raised different. And I always find girls are always raised differently than boys. Yeah. Like, I kid you not, this was told to me, like, yesterday.
I see it every day.
Where it was like, well, I couldn't do this when I was this age. Well, yeah, because you're a girl. And I'm like,
yeah.
Not a valid excuse anymore.
not now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, because you're a girl. And I was like, I am the oldest. And my younger brothers have more privileges than I do. You know what I mean?
Cool. Yeah.
So, not cool. But again, these are conversations that we're slowly having, that we're slowly, exposing to the world. We're slowly asking, why is this the way that it is? Why are these the rules that are dictating our lives?
That's the magic word, why. Just be confident to ask why.
Yeah. That's all you really want to do.
But sometimes your questions are not answered. So just,
But that comes with living life. Life will answer your questions.
What are some of the questions that you encourage the girls to ask when they do come to these groups?
The self-esteem piece also was a huge one. Because they don't feel comfortable about themselves. Sometimes they say, oh, maybe I should have done this, or maybe they need validation, right? And then, that's what really this group is about, is to give them that validation and self-confidence that they can go ahead, okay, yeah, so you can do this, there is no limit. I mean, your gender should not be a limitation and should not even hinder your ability, to achieve whatever you want. Right?
I think it's really important, even when you touch on that the validation doesn't need to come from other people.
Yeah.
The validation needs to come from yourself.
Exactly.
Right?
That's
and then
true.
everyone else is kind of like external. There's a support system, like you said.
Yeah, and we do have that. We have like a specific workshop that is on self-esteem, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And then, and that one also was so fun, right? This is the one that I think
we wrote notes to our future selves.
Yeah,
I love that. I
love
that.
Yeah.
And then they put that in the envelope, and then
I actually got it in the mail a month ago. Yeah, it made me cry. It was crazy.
So you mail it to yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's really great, honestly.
Good.
So we're gonna take one more break. When we come back again, we're gonna wrap up this conversation, but it won't be the last that you hear of us. So we'll be right back, guys. Great, and how's your experience been so far?
I'm loving it because this is my first year here, and I was so excited.
I've had so many people come, so much traffic. I'm absolutely tired. Because of all the exposure that I got from this great event, I was able to grow and evolve and create my very own label.
It's been a fantastic event.
This is my second year.
An awesome event connecting to the community.
So yeah, we urge you to join here. It's a great turnout.
So for those of you who are not here this year and have business, make sure that you're here next year because it's only going to get better every year.
So I will be back next year. So thank you. This is so awesome.
So people who aren't here, what would you tell them?
You're missing out. Come out and have some fun.
Welcome back, guys. You guys are watching Real Talk, and I'm your host, Alyssa Mahadeo. Today on the show, I have Vanessa and Rouguy.
Yeah.
Rouguy, you have such a cute name.
Actually, this is not my full name.
What is your full name?
My full name is Rouguy, but anytime I say, "Oh, how do you pronounce your name? How do you pronounce your name?" I said, "Okay, well, just say Rouguy. I go by that. So but even that, I know it's still hard for people to say. But I don't get offended.
It's hard to remember sometimes because I want to say it right because I want to say it the way that she says it. It's a big deal for me when I meet people and they have unusual names that I've never heard before.
Exactly.
That I make sure that I pronounce her name right. So I'll ask you like 6 times how to say her name.
No, you know what? If there is something that I don't get offended, it's when you mispronounce my name or maybe you misspell it, because I know it's something that is not you are not familiar with.
Yeah.
So don't get offended.
But we are having great conversations today, you know, about the Young Black Women's Project, and I really want the audience to know that this is a really great initiative that's been started in Peel that is open for you to become and be a part of. If you have questions, if you have conversations, if you know you're just looking for answers or you're looking for something to do in community service in your spare time, and you know you want to join a sisterhood, this seems like the place to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
What you can do is you can look us up on our website, so www.ybwproject.com. We're just kind of starting in on our social media and all that stuff. So you can find us on Instagram, YBW Project, and on Twitter, YBW_project. And where can they...
Facebook. We have the Facebook.
Oh yes,
page.
the Facebook page. You can find us at the Young Black Women's Project as well. Our 8-week workshop series started last year in September, and we're hoping to start it again this year, September. Yes. So you know, when school starts, kind of you get a different sort of education other than what you get at school.
Yeah. Oh, so you're doing it around the same time as school.
Yeah. Just so because that's when people start to get more.
When do
scheduled.
you guys have it? Like, is it during the week or is it on the weekends?
It's during the week and it's after school hours and also after work hours.
Okay.
So last time it was from 6 to 9 p.m.
Okay.
But sometimes it ends a bit earlier, sometimes it ends a bit later, depending on how great the topic and how great it's going. So there's time after that, and it's once a week, every week for 8 weeks.
Okay. It seems like a very therapeutic experience to have to do this during school because there's so much stress, so much work. Like when you have work and September's a stressful month to begin with.
Yes, exactly.
Lots of stuff is happening. Kids are going back to school. You're going back to school. You're going back to work. If you have the summer off, things like especially teachers.
Yeah. So it's nice to just kind of take a couple of hours out of your evening to go and be with your peers and just kind of relax and chill and talk about life.
And is there a specific theme for the workshops coming up in September, or
the themes change every week? So every week is a different topic. So like we're saying, either sex and relationship building, mental health, trauma, artistic, creative writing. Yes, and it's always different every week.
And so, say midweek, like week 4 or 5, you find out about this. Are you able to drop in?
Anytime.
It's flexible, but we always recommend that the person goes to the end of the 8 sessions because each session is unique and the information is very unique, right? So Vanessa, she can speak more about.
And every woman graduates from the session. So even you can come in on the last session and you're gonna graduate. So it's just kind of very inclusive. So you can come anytime. And just come as you are. Be yourself.
That's really good. Yeah. That's really, 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 and I think, and I like, because even the age range too, like, what I find is when a lot of girls are in university or they're in college, they realize, like, by first, second year, that that's not what I want to do.
Yeah.
This is a big, big issue. And I actually had a conversation, like, these girls, like, the other day, these girls were 21 years old. They're friends of a friend. And we were just having conversations about life. We happened to just be at a party, but that's where the conversation went.
Right. Yeah. That's how it happens.
Yeah. And listening to them talk about their current lives, their current situations, it made me sad. Because I'm like, because I know where they're at mentally, like in their mental states. And it's it's a lost place. Like you're caught in limbo.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
That's what it feels like. Because you're like, I don't really want to do this, but I feel like I'm obligated to be doing this. You know what I mean?
So someone's got to pay the bills,
Yeah, someone's got to pay the bills. I got to go to work, or I need to get educated. I need to be in school. Someone told me I needed a degree to do this, that, and the next. So there's a lot of those questions, but no one's ever addressing them. And it's like, you can tell that they're not having conversations with either their friends, because their friends are lost as they are.
Yeah.
Or they're not having conversations with their family, because their family are just like, no, this is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
It's very rigid.
The conversations are like a dead stop.
Yeah. It's like, don't talk about this, don't question
Yeah.
this. You know, this is what I told you had to do.
Yeah.
These are the steps you must take to
Yeah.
succeed. Yeah.
Yeah, these are the things that
that is very difficult.
And it also feels like a lot of them are even just waiting to be old enough to be married, and then that's going to be the end of things.
Yes.
That hurts my heart. It hurts my heart.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what it feels like. I'm not speaking to that's the actual experience, but that's what it feels like to me based on the conversations I've had.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And it's not to say that you can't fall in love. It's not to say that you can't find a partner who's going to be with you for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
But don't think that marriage and children is the end of you.
Yeah.
It's not. It's like just the beginning. You know?
But it's even doing things on your own terms.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big thing, because even I feel like even in my own experience, I always had this idea of how things were gonna play out. I was gonna be this age, and I was gonna do this. I'm gonna do this age and do this. It's gonna by this age I was gonna be this. By this age I was gonna be like accomplished in my career. I was gonna be this person. And like none of those things have happened. They've never unfolded that way. I just deluded myself into thinking that for so many years, and it wasn't until like I was actually going through it and I was like, maybe that's not gonna happen that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it was just like, okay. And it was very eye-opening, but at the same time, like, okay, but then if it's not gonna happen that way, how do you want it to happen?
Right.
Yeah.
Right? And then even, like, again, being in a relationship, deciding when you want to get married.
Yes.
Deciding how long you want to be dating this person for.
Yeah.
Deciding when are you ready to transition from being an unmarried woman to a married woman, because I feel like people don't ever realize that there's a big change there.
There is a big change. That's true.
I don't know if there's such a huge change.
I think so.
But there's definitely more responsibility that comes along with it. But if you're connected to that person from the start, I don't think marriage really changes much.
I don't think it changes.
It changes much with your taxes, with like the money part. But in regards to the love, I don't think it changes.
No, it's not. It's not even about the love that's changing. Because I mean, again, if you've been with that person for, like you said, if there's that trust and everything that's there, it's not going to be a big deal in transition that way. But I'm thinking like there's a lot of women who've never like lived with someone else other than their parents.
Right.
You know what I mean? So now you're like living with someone else. You have a whole life to build now, because now you're building your own life.
Exactly.
Right? Because you've been reliant on either your parents or yourself for so long that now you have to be aware that there's someone else in your life that you're a part of. Now, do we want to have kids together? There's just so many questions that I find that we should sit down and talk about, because a lot of people don't realize until they're engaged and going to get married that we didn't talk about this.
Yeah, they don't realize it takes work. You know, it takes planning.
Yeah, it takes work. It takes a commitment.
Yeah.
It takes conversations to be had. And I think that's the most important thing. I think I've gone to like so many bridal showers and bachelorette things, and a lot of they always make you write down advice for the couple, right? And a lot of the so they'll be like, oh, write down advice for the happy couple, down the road, and I'm just like, communicate with each other, talk to each other every day.
Have a
if
conversation.
If you're feeling about this, talk about it. Don't just be mad at him.
Yeah, and also have sex. Like,
do all the things. Never stop doing things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, don't think just because you stop dating that you can't live your life the way that you were when you were dating.
Marriage is not. It's not the end point. It's like just the beginning.
Yeah. So. Again, these are just conversations that I know I'm happy to hear that women are having, that people are having questions about, that they're even curious about, because some people don't even know. Like, if you ask sometimes, I'm a big sister with big brothers, big sisters, and I have a little sister, and the questions she asks me, she's 14, and the questions she asks me sometimes, I'm like, girl, I don't even have that knowledge yet.
Yeah. I have a 10-year-old sister, and she's just like, just watching her grow, I'm like, whoa, was that how it was for me?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Did I do this?
Even the things that they say, sometimes they'll say things, and I'm like, what?
Where'd you learn that?
Where'd you learn that? Did I even know that at this age?
But they use social media, internet.
they find out so much more. Like, they have just a resource that we did not have because our resource was other people. Now they have the internet as a resource. So these children are growing up faster than they know what to do with the time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's sad, but it's like, it's cool, but it's sad.
Yeah, it is. So we have reached the end of our hour. I've had a great time speaking with you ladies. Thank you so much for coming to talk about the Young Black Women's Project. Again, you guys can find them. All of the links are going to be in the description box below. So if you're looking to register for the classes coming, and also they have an event that's coming up on May
our
7th.
book launch.
Yeah, their book launch. So here it is. You guys can see, save the date. It's going to be at 9 p.m. at the Steaming Cups Cafe that's in Brampton here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
On May 7th.
On May 7th. Yeah. So you guys, make sure that you guys, come out to that. You guys can get a taste for what you guys are going to get. You guys are going to have speakers that day, and as well as some of the women.
Simone will be one of our speakers.
Simone will be there, guys. So if you guys watch Simone's show, make sure you go and support.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So thank you, ladies. Thank you again for coming. So much. And that's been another edition of Real Talk, guys. So I will see you again next week. Again, 1 p.m. sharp, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next week.
Thank you.